tracks today.
Yeah. I need them bands, run it up fast, stuffing them shits in the safe. Got me a spot out the way, nigga just tryna be safe. Leaving the house with the glizzy, nigga.
Let's get to the sports talk.
Chicago before they lost to New Orleans. I got all of that. But the reality is that unless you're saying that Carson Wentz, healthy, could not have done what Nick Foles did, I don't want to hear anything from anybody else. Carson Wentz is a better talent than Nick Foles.
I agree with that, Stephen A.
Right, I know you do. That's my point. So if you agree with it, understand that, again, monetary issues is why Nick Foles is gone. Ultimately, you also had to make the choice. Unless you're going to say that Carson Wentz was better than Nick Foles, which nobody will do,
Ain't nobody gonna do it. I'm gonna tell you right now, they gonna say he got hurt. Yeah, he got hurt. Yeah, he got hurt again. That's all they gonna say. That don't mean Nick Foles is a better quarterback than him. Yeah, he helped Philly get a Super Bowl ring, but that don't mean he's better than Carson Wentz. That's the only thing they gonna bring up. They not gonna say he's a better quarterback or anything. They gonna say Wentz can't stay healthy. That's the only thing they gonna say about him. He's a solid quarterback for Philadelphia. I feel like he gonna be more healthier this year for them and make this run for the organization. He gonna be more healthy than he have been for the last 2 years. He's gonna be just fine for them.
What we'll do, the bottom line is the Eagles made the right decisions. I don't think they should have any regrets. I don't think they will, as long as Carson Wentz can be healthy.
You don't have to say that. First of all, let me go with both of your points. Number one, I understand what they did, Dan. The reality is maybe they had to do it that way and enabled them to improve in other ways. But when you make a decision in life that there are options on both sides that make sense, there are pros and cons. It's not like once you make that decision, even though you want to go ahead with a full heart and be committed, it's not like you're not still conflicted about things. Like the bottom line, like those things still exist, the pros on keeping Nick Foles. One of them is, it's tough to say, well, sure, Carson Wentz will be available at the end of the season when he hasn't been the last 2 seasons. Now, that's one. Two, Stephen A., when you bring up Carson Wentz a better talent than Nick Foles. Yes, he is. Carson Wentz is an elite talent, no doubt about it. Although Nick Foles, the first time he had a real coach in the NFL or a system, went 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And then when he got back to that team, won a Super Bowl, and then made a playoff run. Nevertheless, Carson Wentz is a greater talent. But when you say if Carson Wentz would have done the same thing, no, we don't know that. We don't know if Carson Wentz could elevate under pressure in those moments. Not that he can't. We just don't know because we haven't seen him do it yet. I want to remind you quick, Dan, then I'll let you go, that Belichick, I think one of the reasons Malcolm Butler wasn't on the field in the Super Bowl, and I know you disagree with this, Stephen A., is Belichick was daring Nick Foles to beat him with his arm. They didn't want to run, they wanted to dare, and Nick Foles did. Nick Foles, with all the chips on the line in the Super Bowl, did the thing Belichick was daring him to do. I don't know that Carson Wentz could have. Maybe he can, maybe he can't. But he hasn't done it yet.
It's literally one of the most outrageous things I've ever heard in my life. But the reality also of it is this, Max. Nick Foles had a great run in that Super Bowl run last year and a really nice run at the end of last season. I love Nick Foles. But the contrary is this, that the Eagles as an organization have such a good head coach and so much talent around them that maybe some other backup quarterbacks could have had somewhat of a similar performance. But because of the coaching and the play calling style and the ability to run the football and the dominant offensive line and the weapon on the outside, is Nick Foles the only guy that could have done that?
We just got to see how Nick Foles do in Jacksonville. It's his team now. Again, let's see what he do with that wide receiver core over there, that talent around him. Let's see, can he do the same thing he did in Philadelphia? And let's see how everything goes for him this year.
Hold on, Max. Dan, let me help you out here, Dan. Because actually, even though you're making the right point, your argument is not as strong as it could be against Kellerman. Here's where you get Max Kellerman. We haven't seen Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns do a lot of things yet. Heard you raving about them. Of course, excuse me, the fact of the matter is we've seen Carson Wentz perform. We didn't see him perform under the situation that Nick Foles performed under because he was hurt. But we've seen him in enough situations on a football field in the National Football League to recognize his talent and what he brings to the table. You're sitting there saying because he wasn't in an ideal situation that Nick Foles was in, okay, that we don't know yet. But you know it about a bunch of other guys in the league you haven't seen in those situations back, and you don't have no problem talking about them.
No, that's entirely wrong. I suspect
that's not entirely wrong.
Baker gives me the impression that he's going to be that kind of guy to rally.
What does the word impression mean? What's the definition of impression? It's what you perceive.
You can get a feeling about a guy, but the point is this.
Oh, a feeling.
If the Browns just let a
We have a feeling about Carson Wentz.
If the Browns just let a backup go who done it under pressure, and someone said, hey, should they be conflicted about that? I'd say, yeah, that guy did it already. Particularly if Baker wasn't there at the end of the last 2 seasons, as Carson Wentz wasn't.
Yeah, that's what's in my head too, Stephen A.
Yeah.
I mean, not that you guys aren't entertaining me.
But Max, the question is this. Are the Eagles at the end of the year going to go, we won the Super Bowl, or we made it to the dance because of Carson, or you know what? We kept our insurance policy, Nick Foles, he didn't have to play, but at least we kept him.
I'm hoping for the Eagles' sake, and I hate the Eagles, so I'm actually rooting against them, but if I were an Eagles fan, I would hope for their sake that Carson Wentz is healthy at the end of the year.
Super Bowl contenders.
But he is not, and I think they will be if he's...
That's the only thing he worried about. Is he going to be healthy or not? He had a full year now to be ready for this season. He's going to be healthy now. We still got to see how Foles do over there in Florida. Because the Eagles still have a good core this year to go around him. Just add on Deshaun Jackson to go along with that core. Nick Foles got Diddy Westbrook and I can't think the other guy out there they have. But we just got to see how he do now when it's fully his team. Not him coming off the bench. Now it's his team. Let's see what he gonna do now. Everything's on him now. What he gonna do now? It's his football team. What he gonna do? He gonna do the same thing he did at Philly? Or he gonna crash? We gotta wait and see.
Healthy at the end of the year, but given the last 2 seasons, boy, it doesn't look like the odds are in his favor.
All the insurance agents watching the show are going to hit you up because they know you just live in fear, man.
Well, the Eagles premiums will be high based on Carson Wentz. If you keep getting in car accidents, guess what? Your premiums go up.
He's got the impression about Baker Mayfield and others, but not the impression about Carson Wentz.
61% of fans say yes, Eagles should have doubts about letting St. Nick walk. 61.
Give a damn.
Stay around.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download